Okay, then another thing, we do have two types of ingestion. There's streaming, and then there's also batch. Now, streaming, this one is really specific. There's okay, nowadays it's popular, but it wasn't popular those days. It's popular because streaming, let's say the users of the data, they really need that data in a short time period when it is produced and when it is consumed. For example, a business deal, let's say in the financial services industry, and then they need to take a decision on an investment, they need real-time data. So that is where streaming comes along. Then we also need to look at the batch. Here, the batch is that the data is ingested in an interval manner. In an interval manner, let's say 6 p.m. every day, the data comes in. Let's say 9 a.m. every day, the data comes in. So this one is majorly more popular because back in the day, you could not separate the computation power and then the storage power. But nowadays, you're able to separate the two. So streaming becomes more valuable and more applicable. So those are the two things that we do come to talk about here. Then another thing is, what are the key considerations that you must take? Should we choose the batch, or should we choose the should we choose the batch, or should we choose the streaming? Now, the key considerations, all of us want streaming data, but you should have considerations as you're considering to either take batch or streaming. Now, for streaming data, is that you have to ask your question. You have to ask a question: can the storage systems handle this streaming data? It also goes back to costs. How much is it going to cost me to stream this data? Again, then another thing is that what is the opportunity cost? If I don't stream data, what will happen? What am I going to lose if I don't stream this data? If I'm going to lose so much by not streaming this data, then it makes more sense for me to stream the data. Then the other thing is the streaming pipeline reliable? Because if this streaming pipeline fails, and this data is needed for, let's say, operational analytics, it's going to cause people to make wrong decisions. If it's being used in the model training, it's going to cause some issues. Another thing, what tools? Tools here, we're talking about money. How much is Google going to charge me? How much is Amazon going to charge me? How much is Microsoft going to charge me if I'm using streaming? Then what is the impact of streaming on the live production on these databases? We're either pulling or extracting the data from a production place. So what impact does streaming have on that live production? So all of us want streaming, but you need to look at the considerations if you look into the streaming part. Thank you for tuning in. I'm going to explain, the next thing I'm going to explain, it's either pull or push. Should we either pull the data or should we push the data? What are the considerations that you should take when you're choosing either of the two? Thank you.